Okay, let's have a look at some additional techniques for navigating around inside your images. What you could also do, I suppose, if you really wanted to, is, I already pointed this out, but way down in the bottom left corner of your interface, we have this percentage field. So if you wanted to, you could type in some kind of a percentage, like, for example, 150, and then hit enter, and that zooms me into 150%, right? Or I could, I could back that off to say 75% or something like this, right? You can certainly do that. Or you can use the zoom drop-down menu, which is found on the application bar running right across the top of the Photoshop interface. That's perfectly fine as well. I find these methods kind of slow, though. In any regard, lots of different ways to zoom in and out, and I've got a couple of other techniques I'll show you in just a moment. But what I'm going to do now is I want to kind of switch the conversation over to talking about navigating around inside your image. So make sure you're zoomed in a little bit on your photograph. I'm here at 75%. You can zoom in a little closer if you want. And in terms of actually getting around inside the image, I have a few different options here. What I could do, for example, is I could use my scroll bars here, the vertical scroll bar and the horizontal scroll bar running right across the bottom of my image. But the only time I actually use my scroll bars is when I'm actually showing this inside some training like this. I never actually use it in the real world. So let me show you what you can do as well. Is just above the zoom tool there in the toolbox, we have the hand tool. Go ahead and grab your hand tool or hit your H key on your keyboard. And now what I can do is I can literally click and drag inside my image, which is awesome. It's 10 times faster than using your scroll bars. You'll move around a lot faster, right? But I gotta say this, even doing this is kind of slow. Let me show you a much faster way to use your hand tool. What I'd like you to do is hit the V key on your keyboard. That'll switch you back to your move tool. And then give this a try. Try holding down your spacebar, just your spacebar all by itself. And what that does is that temporarily toggles you to the hand tool. So Control and spacebar, or here on the Mac, Command spacebar grabs the zoom tool. The spacebar just by itself grabs the hand tool. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll hit Control spacebar or Command spacebar, zoom in on an area, let go, I'm back onto my tool. I'll do a little fix up, hold down the space bar, pan around a little bit, continue my fix ups. This kind of thing, right? It might seem kind of tough if you've never done this before, but it's like anything. The more you do it, the more it goes on autopilot. When I'm actually working inside Photoshop, I don't even think about what I'm doing. I'm just, and I'm rocking away inside Photoshop, not even really paying attention to exactly what keys my fingers are holding down because I've done it for years, right? I don't even really think about it anymore. So anyway, some cool techniques there for you in any regard. All right, now I've got to show you a couple of other things. I hope you like your keyboard shortcuts because I'm going to blast you through a series of keyboard shortcuts here. Try this. If you're on the Windows side, hit Control-0, or if you're on the Mac side, as I am, hit Command-0. Now make sure you don't hit Command-O or Control-O. That's your open, right? If you hit Command-0 or Control-0, that'll zoom you all the way out. So now our document fits inside our screen, right? So that's kind of a cool shortcut for zooming all the way out. Try this. If you're on the Windows side, hold down Control, Mac, hold down Command, and try using your plus key to zoom in or your minus key to zoom out. That's another neat technique there that you can certainly make use of. So Control or Command plus to zoom in, Control or Command minus to zoom out, and Control or Command 0 to fit your document into your interface, which is awesome. There you go. Lots of cool techniques. I'm going to throw one more quick thing at you here. If you so choose to use this, we have something called the Navigator palette. I'm going to head up to my window menu here, and then I'm going to look for Navigator, I guess about 2/3 of the way down, I suppose. Look for Navigator. And what this guy will do, I'm just going to tear him away so we can have a sort of a closer look at this guy here. This fella right here, as the name implies, allows us to navigate around inside our image. This is yet another technique. I don't use this palette myself. It's a little too slow for me, but can certainly make use of it if you like. Running across the bottom, we have this slider, which allows us to zoom in and zoom out. You can certainly use that guy, or you can click on the little mountain to zoom out, or click on the big mountains to zoom in. And what's kind of cool here is as you zoom in, you'll notice in this little preview thumbnail here, we have this red frame, and the red frame indicates what we can currently see inside our document window, and I can actually drag on that red frame. And I apologize, by the way, for ripping through this, super fast, but we've got a lot of good stuff to get to, so I'm just trying to give you at least a half decent idea of how the Navigator panel works. But again, myself, I don't use it. I rely on keyboard shortcuts instead. And if you're sitting there going, I can never remember keyboard shortcuts, put a sticky note on the bottom of your monitor. And, I guarantee within a week you'll have them all memorized. All these shortcuts that I was showing you, the controller command plus, controller command minus, and the controller command 0. So there you go. And don't forget, we have spacebar if we're zoomed in here. Hold down our spacebar there. Control or Command spacebar to zoom in. Controller Command spacebar and Alt or Option to zoom out. So lots of good stuff for you there to practice.